Hey, 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 beautiful heart, what's vibing today? All right, Dr. Denae here to tap into today's energy. And as soon as I woke up, I'm telling you, I felt it. I'm like, okay, it's going to be a weird day. Expect the unexpected, guys. You should already have started feeling this full moon lunar eclipse energy starting pretty much yesterday, and it's going to increase through the weekend. So, anyways, I I think I've shared the last couple of days. I've been tired. Uh, which I know has to do with the cosmic energy. So trying to rest when I can. I have a very packed schedule, but anyways, woke up. I decided to sleep in a little bit. I'm usually up right at 5 a.m. today. I allowed myself to sleep in till 7. Peeled myself out of bed, went downstairs to get my coffee ready. I am definitely one of those people. Do not talk to me until I have a few sips of coffee in me. So I go downstairs, and normally, hey, 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 beautiful heart, what's vibin'? Dr. Denae here. Let's get into this energy. Man, it is interesting. Definitely feeling the contrast between these two energies. As you know, we're heading fast to a very powerful lunar full moon eclipse in Taurus coming up on the 28th. The energy is already building. It's very palatable that there's this greater unconditional love energy smacking right up against doubt, fear, and anxiety. And guys, they are two completely different opposite energies and vibrations. So you guys may be feeling this or experiencing this in your own life. This morning, I experienced this in a really interesting way. I've been feeling the energy for a little while now, and anyways, I go downstairs. I decided to allow myself to sleep in this morning. So I woke up a couple of hours later than normal, which is still really early. My routine when I get up, I go straight down and get myself a cup of coffee. And as I'm preparing the coffee, I go over, I say good morning to the birds and to my bearded dragon. Now, my bearded dragon, he's an interesting little guy. And last night, when I was putting him to bed, he was in a little mood. And it was so adorable. His moods are super adorable. But, anyways, he's got his own little super comfy, cushiony bed. I put him on that, and he has his favorite blankie. So I wrapped him, usually put the blanket over him, and I noticed he started moving his head. So I open up the blanket to see what he's doing. And man, the side eye I got, he took his hand and he grabs the blanket and he pulls the blanket like up under his chin, put his head down, like to say, Mom, leave me alone, I'm going to bed. So he tucked himself in. And once he's out, homie is out for the night. Nothing wakes him up. He's just out. The routine in the morning is, I come downstairs, get the coffee going, and I say good morning to everybody. And I usually open up his blanket. I look under his blanket just to see, good morning, time to get up, because he's lazy. He likes to take his time. I knew when I got downstairs and I'm prepping my coffee and I happen to look over and he's already outside of his blanket on the edge of his bed looking at me like, where have you been? What's wrong? So I go over to him and he's looking at me. I'm like, buddy, You're up. What's going on? And he takes his hand and he's waving it like, come here, cuddle me now, because he loves his cuddles. So I pick him up and, I go to put him on my shoulder and he runs right under my chin and he wants to snuggle. So I'm like, okay, don't get me wrong. I love my little dragon's cuddles and snuggles. Um, so I just thought, well, okay, that's interesting that he's awake, and I'm tuning into the energy. Now I've got my coffee. Him and I are kicking it on the couch. And I hear Pebbles, one of my parrots, she starts calling to me. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So I go over and I open up her penthouse door to give her her morning scritch, and she jumps out, and her as well jumps right. Well, she jumped onto my shoulder, but immediately ran over to the other side of me, my chin, and cuddled under there, and just kept saying Peebles, Peebles. And so I'm like, okay, you're in a lovey mood today too. So the animals have been extra weird and loving today. So I say all that as I'm babbling on about it because the energy is highly interesting right now. Been talking about it all week, and really just trying to prepare you guys, because I know a lot of you are feeling these intense emotions and not even sure what's going on, and immediately falling back into old patterns of negative self-talk, blaming yourself, and all of these things. I really want to highlight that that is the energy that this unconditional love that wants to come in and take over is hitting up against. This is where that friction is coming from. Right now, as I'm doing this reading, Uranus, which is in retrograde, is pretty much holding hands with Venus right now. So there's this incoming energy of heightened love and awareness, this unconditional love that's meeting head on this old energy that is showing up to be released, which is anxiety, doubt, fear, self-sabotage, criticism, judgment. We're being guided to move into this space of non-judgment of others, but non-judgment towards ourselves first. And this is where this rub is coming up. Because guys, if you aren't used to that energy of unconditional love, it's going to feel scary. Only because you haven't experienced it yet. It's new. So anytime there's something new and we're not really experienced with it, that could cause doubt, fear, and anxiety and want to run. So if you are feeling like you either want to give up, leave it alone, run the opposite way, want to get back more on solid ground, the advice is stop. Just stop where you're at, stop running, release attachments, release this energy that is trying to pull you back to old ways. There is a lot of deceit energy that is coming up. And here's the thing. Like I spoke about yesterday in this soulmate cycle, and I do feel this is just kind of a continuation of this, that whoever you're dealing with, and for those of you who aren't dealing with a soulmate outside of you, absolutely, this could be 100% about you with you. So take it how it resonates. But this deceit energy, this is self-deceit. These are the gaslighting stories, the lies that we tell ourselves and that we believe. We're great at believing our own lies, but it's in that we deceive ourselves, that we end up blocking ourselves off to the unconditional love, the abundance, all of the desires we want in life. Here we have woman holding a heart. For me, this card, and it being number 44, this is about unconditional love. And this is what we all crave and desire, even if people don't admit it, because that's a level of vulnerability most people aren't comfortable with. But here's the thing, this unconditional love that we're not used to, that we push away, keep hidden, all of those different things, is what we naturally are. We are naturally born of this energy. It is part of our cellular makeup. We can't get away from it. We deny it, we push it down, we gaslight ourselves, we deceive ourselves, and this pattern keeps going on, because if we're doing this to ourselves, then other people are going to come in and do the same thing. Why? Because how you treat yourself is energetically what you're teaching others how to treat you. Let that sit for a moment. So if you're in connections and people are treating you in a way that you don't like, that you don't want to accept, before judging, before pointing the finger, stop and take a really good, honest look at yourself, because this is what's going to help you grow by leaps and bounds. Take a look at yourself and go, okay, am I gaslighting myself? Am I believing my own lies? Am I not respecting my own boundaries? Is my internal dialogue mean and condescending and judgmental towards myself? So always take a look at yourself first. And yes, it's expected that in this energy, this stuff is going to come up, and it can feel very overwhelming. It can feel very heavy, but it doesn't mean that it's the truth. What you think about, you bring about, which it's a great little rhyme, a little ditty, but there's more to it, because what you feel is what you make real. Where your attention goes, so what you think about, your energy flows to that. So that's why, especially right now in this eclipse doorway, portal, however you want to call it, it is so important to be disciplining yourself and your thoughts. Because if what you want is abundance, love, happiness, joy, health, but all you're thinking about is what you don't have, how long it's taken to get here, or when's it going to happen, all of that, you're in this deceit energy. You're in double-mindedness, because this matrix energy of deceit, lack, false love, all of that, that may be your experience. But now that you're awakening and learning truths, you're changing that. And it's not easy, but it's practice and consistency, because the blossoming abundance, that is the outcome. It's there. You know, here's the thing, what's meant for you will never pass you by. Things don't come to us in our timing because ultimately we're not ready for it. What you want wants you. It just may not look like the way your human personality has decided it has to come in. All right. 2 of Wands, 5 of Wands, Temperance in reverse, and Judgment. So yeah, this 2 of Wands, going back to the double-mindedness. Human consciousness versus Christ consciousness. Another way of saying that is ego and soul. Take the time over the next few days before Saturday to really feel into what you want to experience. Let your imagination play. Imagination has a purpose, a huge purpose in law of attraction and manifesting. Make sure that in your choices, you're choosing paths you haven't traveled yet, especially if it feels a bit scary. It's scary because you haven't been down that road yet. If you get anything out of this reading, get this. Right now, make sure you're choosing the path you haven't gone down before, because that's the path that is calling you. Stay out of conflict, confusion. Stay away from people who bring that into your life. And if you're doing this internally with yourself, which is absolutely possible, here, watch it. This is saying you need to bring in more compassion in your inner dialogue. You shouldn't be fighting with yourself. And temperance in reverse here, yeah, you're out of balance. Many of you are just too much in your head, analyzing, thinking, trying to bring up these old hurtful feelings to sit in them and analyze them. Do you really need to be doing that? Where you're at in your journey? Or are you actually being called to look at them and reflect on them? Not attached to them, but literally let them go, recognize them. Ah, okay, you're still here. You know what? I see you, but I've learned my lesson. I don't need this experience anymore. In full love and grace, I'm releasing you. That needs to be your conversation between now and this full moon. Really between now and November 2nd, because this is that energy we're under. Is lovingly letting go of the hurts, the lack, what hasn't shown up for you or what hasn't happened. And having that new inner dialogue with yourself that you know what? I know that I know that I know it is coming to me. How do I know? Because I'm making a different choice in this now moment. And all I have is this now moment. The past is already done and over with. The future isn't here yet. How do I not experience my past in my future days? It's in the now moment of what you're thinking and feeling. So in this now moment, even if you have to take it hour by hour, minute by minute, day by day, do what you need to do to make sure you are turning your back on the chaos, the chaotic thoughts, the old limiting belief patterns, that internal dialogue that you're saying, no, you know what? I've had enough of that. I know how that ends. What I don't know is this path I haven't traveled yet. I'm going to open up my heart. I'm going to follow my heart, because ultimately my heart knows the truth. My heart is part of my feeling body. It is a magnet. It will magnetize to me my desires. When I'm a vibrational match to what I desire, those will materialize in the 3D world. It's all about vibration and magnetism. And that's whatever we have in our heart. That's why I'm saying you get a thought first, then a feeling comes up to match that thought. So be very diligent on what you're thinking about, because right now you want the feelings, the thoughts and the feelings to match to support your highest timeline, your highest desires. That is unconditional love. That is happiness, joy, health, peace, prosperity, and love. Compassionate internal dialogue, being your own cheerleader. Because a bountiful, abundant life is what you want. It's what you're calling in, and it is your natural state. You haven't lived it because you've been living and playing a role in the matrix. Now it's time to let that go. And even though you're afraid, choose that new path. Step into that path of your higher timeline. All right, guys, I hope that helped. As always, I am sending you oceans and oceans of love from my heart to yours. Namaste. Bye-bye.